Okay, welcome. All right, so where do I start? Um, this is a new segment I wanted to do. That I've been kind of preparing for like over a year. A new web series, and the main topic is astral projection. Astral projecting is the main source of the topic, and but I kind of first wanted to start like from the beginning. Um, when I looked up on TikTok and YouTube things that were related to astral projection, a lot of stuff started coming up about um, the Gateway Project and Gateway meditation, which is things that I have been doing and practicing to help me get into that the next level of consciousness and being able to do what I do. But then people started connecting it with our youth when we were younger, when we were elementary, and they were tying in the GATE program, and then a lot of people that were tapping into this new realm of consciousness were remembering things from back in the days, certain sounds and tests that they were doing, and they kept mentioning the GATE program, and who else is in it, and who else is experiencing these things today, and remembering certain things that are related to the training and the programs and your higher mind. So I was digging around of some of my stuff, paperwork and certificates and awards that I received, and I remember seeing something like that in my files, and I found this gifted and talented program, San Diego City Schools, San Diego. Now, a lot of people that I went to school with were a part of this program. I don't know how many people took tests starting from kindergarten. I think we were first tested in kindergarten, and then every few years they would come in and do certain type of testings. That was different from ASAT and different from the other type of yearly testing. And then again in junior high. And then so I found this, and it talks about the programs in the city, and just kind of just their philosophy about gifted kids and things like that. But then attached to it, there was something else. There was a seminar that they did in '94, which was one of the last years that I did the test, and I had scored a 96 percentile, which I have the test there, and then a letter that they gave my parents. There was a seminar they did, Distinguished Lecture Series '94, and it had like a bunch of different doctors that came in at a specific middle school or high school, and they would just come and talk about just their philosophies. Sandra Kaplan, that's like the group organization that does all the tests, that they send out tests for test taking and test prep. Um, that name kind of stood out. And then also on this front cover, it says CAP there, KAPP 81. So I don't know if that's related to it, but I'm going to throw a lot of things out there. So if it makes sense to you and it starts bringing back certain memories and history of people that are part of these programs. I remember going to bungalows in different areas and taking certain tests, and then you put on the headphones and it'd have one sound in one ear, another sound in another ear. And for the most part, I thought it was like ear testing or testing for your ears and to see if if you could just hear, very low tones, very light tones, and you just kind of raise your hand or smile, let them know what you can hear. But I think there was other tests that they did with us that I don't remember too much. Things with flashcards and things with like puppets and certain little games that we would have with these counselors and psychiatrists throughout my elementary school days. Um, Here's the letter they gave my dad back when I had took this test, and I had been placed in a certain percentile um, under the gate and cluster category. Here it had put me in the 96th percentile. My dad had a sign, and it had my test from when I was in kindergarten, 99 percentile. I actually even have the test results from when I was in kindergarten. And it was weird because they had it in Spanish. And I don't know how much Spanish I even knew back in kindergarten, but I had scored a 99 percentile back then. So, and it says here down here the specifics of the percentage that I was in, category I was in. So a lot of people that are in this organization or are a part of this community of spiritual awakening and all that, they're trying to tie in, like, if we're programmed or if we're like groomed or just kind of being monitored from a young age to just to see, you know, our potential, our capabilities of, our consciousness and our mind. And I don't know if any of that's true, but like, it is odd and weird and a big coincidence that nowadays at our age that we're older, we're starting to connect and relate to these tests, especially a lot of the sounds. Now, there's a program that I found that is supposed to be like a CIA program. Has to do with alpha neural programming. Robert Monroe, it's the Monroe Institute. They created these frequency wave sounds that helps heighten your consciousness and sleep, and which has helped me get to the level of lucid dreaming, which is something that I've always had my whole life anyways. But to excel at it and become a professional at it, and then to also have the out-of-body experience, which I've experienced 3.5 times, and some of them actually just recently. Astral projecting, where you're specifically pulling your spirit or mind consciousness out of your body and then moving into the astral plane. I'm gonna do more segments on this topic. Like, share, comment for part 2, part 3. But I also want to hear your insight, people that are involved with this, that understand and know what I'm talking about and experience what I've been experiencing lately, and discuss it and your feedback and your thoughts on it, where you're at and what you're doing and how it's helping your life and how you're helping others. I'll go into detail of some of my astral projecting adventures, and then I'm going to do a segment of the audio tapes that I listened to, and kind of reading a description of how it works and how to prepare your mind and your settings and your environments to get to that highest level relaxation, to where you can actually do these things. And it goes deep. It's so many different levels, like 50 different levels of heightenedness, alertness, consciousness, to where you're traveling to even certain years. There's one program where it wants you to travel to the year 2050, and when you're there, they want you to be able to get information. So it's like that's where I kind of get a little convinced of the whole grooming, where they want to use us to do certain things. And then there's like spirit guides, which I've already seen twice. I have the same spirit guides, like a little boy that shows up, and we fly and we adventure, and it's like it's deep. It gets deep. So this is part 1. I just barely scratching the surface, but I'm also still new at it too. It's only been a year of me evolving into this person, and it's amazing. It's like the best thing I've ever experienced in my life. So that's why I wanted to share it. And it's been a while for me preparing to break out into this topic, but I think it's very beneficial and special, and people that know and can appreciate it. And I'm here. I'm one of them. So reach out, connect, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.